All right, let's get right into it. There's a project out there called ENTIFY, and it's making one of the biggest, boldest claims I think I've ever heard. They say they've built a permanent foundation for a whole new digital society, a network so complete they're calling it the last one we will ever need. Now I know, it sounds like something straight out of science fiction, but today we're going to unpack exactly what ENTIFY is, why they think we desperately need it, and how on earth they claim they can pull it off.
And boom, there it is. That's their opening shot. It's a really powerful, direct diagnosis of the world we live in online. See, they're not talking about small tweaks or little patches here and there. They are arguing that the entire system is fundamentally broken, right down to its very core. And of course, they believe they have the solution. So, what exactly is the problem they're trying to solve?
Well, their main argument is that the problem isn't just one single thing. It's everything. It's a total systemic collapse of trust, a structural failure that's poisoning pretty much everything we do online.
And just think about it for a second. This is the crisis we're all living through, right? We're in this daily battle against deepfakes that make it almost impossible to know what's real anymore. We've got bots overwhelming every platform, manipulating conversations, scammers who can convincingly impersonate anyone. And on top of all that, you've got corporations exploiting our data, governments trying to centralize control, and our identities, they're just shattered into a million pieces across countless insecure databases. You know, these aren't just little annoyances. ENTIFY says these are fundamental cracks in the very foundation of the internet.
So here's the crucial takeaway from their perspective. You can't just patch these issues one by one. You can't just build a better bot detector or pass a new privacy law and call it a day. The argument is that the entire architecture is flawed, and that brings us to the absolute heart of their whole philosophy.
What if the real root of all these problems, the scams, the data mining, the deepfakes, is that the internet has no real concept of who we are? Their whole argument boils down to this. The fundamental flaw of the modern internet is how it handles digital identity.
And this is their proposed answer. It's a concept called sovereign identity. Now, this isn't an account that Google gives you or a passport issued by a government. No, this is an identity that originates directly from you and is controlled only by you. In this model, your own declaration becomes the ultimate anchor of trust, which, as you can imagine, is a radical departure from how things work today. And this slide really puts the two models head-to-head. On one side, you've got the system we have right now. Our identity is basically just a fragile little entry in someone else's database. It can be taken away, it can be monitored, it can be restricted. On the other side, you have the sovereign model that ENTIFY is pushing. Here, your identity is a cryptographically sealed truth that you physically hold. The entire basis of trust shifts away from the institution and back to you, the individual.
Okay, so if a crisis of identity is the problem, and this idea of sovereign identity is the big concept, how does ENTIFY claim they can actually make it happen? This is where we shift from the theory into their actual proposed technology.
Here it is. This is the core promise. A digital world that's actually anchored in reality. The entire network is designed from the ground up so that every single participant is provably real, verified, and, well, alive. If they can actually pull that off, it would, in theory, eliminate bots, fake accounts, and deepfake identities right at the source.
And believe me, this goes way beyond just identity. What they're describing is an entire ecosystem. We're talking about a totally private identity that you control with zero knowledge protection, which means your data is never exposed. They're even talking about a radio-powered mesh network that doesn't rely on the traditional internet at all. And all of it is anchored by what they call unhackable personal hardware, designed specifically to protect you from all those problems we talked about earlier.
I know, this all sounds incredibly ambitious, right? So how is it all supposed to work? Let's break down the mechanics of what they call their closed loop of trust.
It all starts with you. You'd create a lawful affidavit, which is basically just a formal, legal declaration of who you are. Then, this declaration is sealed with something they call a conscious biometric autograph. The easiest way to think of it is as a super unique digital signature that's biologically tied to you. This whole package is then stored as a non-transferable NFT, but it's an offline digital token that exists only on your personal hardware. It's your proof.
And here's how all those pieces are meant to fit together. Step 1. Your living identity is created and sealed. Step 2. It's locked into physical hardware. Step 3. That hardware connects to a mesh network made up of other verified users.
And step 4, and this is a big one, because every single user on the network is real, the network can power a totally new kind of blockchain, one that doesn't need miners or validators, because the trust is already built right in. The end result, they claim, is a system where trust is the default setting and fraud becomes mathematically impossible.
So let's just imagine for a second. If a network like this actually existed, what could you do with it? This is where the vision really explodes, moving beyond just fixing the old internet to building an entirely new layer for our digital civilization.
The potential applications they're talking about are just vast. I mean, imagine devices that literally cannot be hacked, or cars that can't be stolen because their ownership is cryptographically welded to you. Think about voting systems where every single vote is guaranteed to come from a real, verified person. Online marketplaces with zero fraud. Private communication that doesn't even need a SIM card. It's a vision for a true Web3 that is built for humans and only humans.
And all of this brings us right back to that initial, incredibly bold claim. Is calling this the last network just some clever marketing, or is there a real, coherent philosophy behind it? You know, this quote really gets to the heart of it. It captures the sheer scale of their ambition. For them, this isn't just a tech upgrade, it's a restoration project. It's about bringing back these fundamental human principles that have been so badly eroded in the digital age. It's about re-injecting truth and authenticity into a world that's just saturated with fakes.
So what it all boils down to is this one ultimate claim, a permanent foundation. Their argument is that because every user is provably real and the whole system is decentralized and secure, it simply can't be shut down, corrupted, or controlled by any single company or government. It is designed from its DNA to be a complete and final solution.
And so we end right where we began. Is this vision of a trust-based network the future? Is it a revolutionary leap forward for how we live our digital lives? Or is it just an unattainable dream? The ideas they're presenting are incredibly compelling, and it leaves us with this final, massive question. What would a world built on verifiable truth actually look like?